Hello, 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 and welcome to the Hellknights What the Faction video. Most of the content in this video, I'm just gonna let you know in case you're curious, comes from the Lost Omens character guide. Sorry about the light there. The Lost Omens character guide even has a Hell Knight on the front. Oh snap! Also, if you can't tell, in case you're curious what the shirts look like, these are what our sellout shirts look like. Bam! Logo looking pretty good if I say so myself. It's not like it's not a peel off plastic, so it's not super trashy. You know, I'm not gonna say they're the highest quality cotton woven by the Egyptians in 1400 BC. Like it's not some crazy Egyptian. It's nice. It's not the greatest, but it's pretty nice. So, I mean, if you're interested, check out our Redbubble link in our Discord. So you got to hop over to that Discord, which link for that is down below. Go ahead and get yourself shirts. If you don't like shirts, we got hoodies, coffee mugs, all sorts of stuff. Redbubble's pretty cool. But anyway, on with the video. So we have Hellknights. Now, to begin, what is the region of origin of the Hellknights? Well, as you can see here, we're back in Chiliax. It doesn't say specifically where, but if I were to guess, they would have most likely come from Agorian, which is the capital of Chiliax, because that would just make sense since they began as essentially mercenaries kind of for House Thrune, for House Thrune over in Chiliax, so it would only make sense that they be from Agorian. But again, it doesn't really give a clear image, at least in any of the second edition books, either in this one or in the adventure. I happen to own that adventure that has the there's more Hell Knight books. I don't happen to own those, yeah. So the ones that have the newer feats and stuff like that, we're just gonna be getting into the base stuff today. We're not gonna be building not a lot of building and all that going on. It's gonna be like the Hell Knights themselves. So anyway, without further ado, what are well, that was the history of them. My apologies, a little off today. What are the Hellknights? Lovely little image we have there of a Hell Knight. That's one of the types of Hell Knights. You'll come to learn that there are more than just one type of Hell Knight if you weren't aware of that before. So what are they? Absolute law. They are the definition, what I would call the definition of the lawful alignment in Pathfinder. They typically are lawful neutral, although some of them are lawful evil. Now, most of the lawful evil Hell Knights you're gonna find are gonna be those who are purely dedicated to the House Thrune and are essentially willing to do anything that Thrune would have them do, or House Thrune would have them do, which, you know, House Thrune, if you watch the old Chiliax video, is pretty much on the lawful evil side of things, just like Asmodeus. So, absolute law. The measure and the chain is what the Hell Knights live by. So I'm gonna go in a little. I'm gonna grab a little bit from the character guide here and just read a little bit off. I'm not gonna read the whole thing. So the measure is the order's massive collections of law and strictures, not scriptures, strictures, which are pretty much like scriptures. It's creeds. They're pretty much creeds. While the chain is a philosophy concerning itself with the three utmost virtues of the Hell Knights. We have order, discipline, and mercilessness. Lovely. No, they are they essentially are bringers of law. And so where Hell Knights can get in trouble a lot of the times too is if you're playing a Hell Knight to what they are thematically, even if how do I say this, they're that so okay. You got like think about it like this. If you live in the United States, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you live outside, I'll try to come up with another analogy. But in the United States, we have typical highway patrol policemen, right? Then you got state troopers. State troopers are like the Hell Knights. You probably shouldn't be going more than 3 miles an hour more than the speed limit, or what would be the equivalent of about 9 kilometers or about 7 kilometers an hour over the speed limit, or they're gonna pull you over. It's it's something like people kind of slow down a little bit for a highwayman, policeman, but you see a state trooper, you hit the brakes because you know they'll come get you like real quick. That's probably the easiest analogy I can give for in terms of how strict they are about upholding the law. So as you can imagine, it kind of can even get them into trouble in areas where they're like, if they see someone breaking the law, and let's say the city guard doesn't do anything about seeing that or lets them go, a Hell Knight would actually step in and say, hey, this person stole. What is the law for someone stealing? Oh, well, we find them 20 gold, but she's 10 years old. The Hell Knight doesn't care. They believe that Asmodeus's order within hell and how well law is respected in hell, they are not, it's kind of weird. They're not champions of Asmodeus, or a lot of them are followers of Asmodeus, but it's not out of a religious or a spiritual desire or fixation or infatuation. It's the infatuation or love for order, like it is with hell, like it is held within hell. Every devil, every demon knows their place, knows their there's a picking order in hell, and it's very well respected in all 9 levels. Or I should say all 9 levels because it goes down. But that's what the Hell Knights respect. They respect and almost adore how strictly that is respected, and they try to replicate that in Galarian. And they, again, another way of looking at a Hell Knight is, without us, there would be chaos, because humanity has proven time and time again that they cannot take care of themselves, hence why you need law. Without law, there would just be chaos and anarchy. So, again, that's a nice long rant about them. We then have the test. As you can see here, we have a bearded devil on the left with a glaive like weapon, and on the right we have a human with what looks to be very shoddy or a medium grade breastplate, a whip, and a long sword. Bonus points if you can let me know what order that would represent, the whip and the long sword. If you can, good for you. But if not, you'll find out later. So, excuse me. The test of a Hell Knight, and again, it's not like only the initial test is spoken of, but I'm someone who believes in, like, if you were to Hell Knight and you wanted to ascend in rank, which we'll get to later as well, that you would have multiple tests along your path to becoming a Hell Knight or above, because leveling system, if you were just a Hell Knight from like level 6 beyond, it'd be kind of weird with all these ranking systems that you would never increase in rank or have the opportunity to. But either way, the test for an Armiger to become a Hell Knight, they must defeat a devil single-handedly in a 1v1 combat scenario, which is First of all, they have to summon it themselves, then fight it and kill it. That's awesome. So again, really, really cool stuff. Again, if you wish to command Hell, you have to be able to defeat Hell, is essentially their philosophy on that, which again is just rad as hell. Super, super cool. The current state of the Hell Knights. They reside all over Golarion, and they're broken down into distinct orders, which is really, really, really cool. For those of you who watched the old Chiliax video, she might look a bit familiar to you. That's because she is the Armiger you saw in the old Chiliax video. So fun stuff. Anyway, that's her first edition rendition, and we'll see the second edition rendition again here when we go over the Armiger. But first, we have the orders. The first order we have is the Order of the Chain. Now I'll go ahead and read you the little section here on the Order of the Chain. Based in Citadel Garadesca near Quarantine in Chiliax, the Order of the Chain's knights are bounty hunters and jailers. They equally hunt bandits, murderers, and fugitives, imprisoning the worst offenders in their fortress-like citadel. These Hell Knights specialize in fields such as tracking, criminal psychology, investigation, and interrogation. The Order's favorite weapon is the flail, which you can see here in his lovely, lovely picture. What a stout, lovely gentleman. So, one thing I would definitely say, since these guys are specialized in tracking, criminal psychology, investigation, interrogation, what would be really interesting is a lot of people overlook it. Ruffian rogues would make amazing Hell Knights. Because you're a strength-based rogue, you still get all those increases. You get the expert perception, right out the gate. The increase to perception later on. You have a Hell Knight that has evasion in heavy armor. Let's go pick up the armor proficiency before you become a Hell Knight, and you could do evasion in heavy armor. That's fucking cool. I mean, if you're asking me, dude, I'm just saying. Or you can even, depending on how you want to do it, it depends. But you could pick up Sentinel, and before you kind of so you could pick up Sentinel, or there's lots of ways of going about it. Anyway, that is the Order of the Chain. Next, we have the Order of the Gate. Based in Citadel Enfarak, just east of Pizak in Chiliax, and consisting of only a few hundred members, the Order of the Gate is the smallest major Hell Knight order. It's also the only order where signifiers, which are Hell Knight spellcasters, which we'll get to here in a bit, outnumber rank and file knights. These spellcasters use all types of magic to devise new ways to bring law to the world. They are known for using eldritch rites to sniff out crimes as they are committed, or even as they are planned. The Order's favored weapon is the dagger, which again is not shown here, but that's okay. Again, I just like the spellcaster look. I thought it looked pretty neat. Little zoom action there. Caster Hell Knights doesn't just have to be your fighters or your ruffian rogues or your champions. Nah, spellcasters out here too. Just because you're a Hell Knight, first of all, does not mean you have to wear armor. Putting it out there. You should, especially because Hell Knights are known for their armor, but up to you, man. You'll see an Order of the Rack here in a bit, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But first, we have the GODCLAW. The Order of the GODCLAW, based in Citadel Dinyar in the Asphodel Mountains, just within Iskur's borders. The Order of the GODCLAW is the only Hell Knight order to dedicate itself to faith. These Hell Knights revere a unique dogma born from a combination of the most lawful aspects of the 5 lawful deities: Abadar, Asmodeus, Iomedae, Irori, and Torag, which is really, really interesting. These Hell Knights follow their doctrine, which they call the GODCLAW, to stamp out disorder and oppose the forces of absolute chaos. The Order's favored weapon is the Morning Star. Now, I couldn't obviously find a Morning Star image, so that's the closest you're gonna get. Next, we have the Order of the Nail, which is the one most commonly seen in Pathfinder. Not sure why. I'd love to see more in terms of official content, if you run into one and things like that. But anyway, the Order of the Nail, based in Citadel Vrade near Corvosa in Varisia. The Order of the Nail dedicates itself to stamping out threats that lurk within the vast swaths of wilderness that threaten to choke civilized society. These Hell Knights see roaming monsters, unchecked superstitions, and unruled frontier living as a threat to society. The Nail often dispatches contingencies of knights throughout the world to deal with what they see as rising threats. The Order's favored weapons are the halberd and the lance. Hell Knights who travel on foot prefer the halberd, while mounted knights fight with lances. So, bam, you got yourself a lovely halberd action Hell Knight there. That's actually taken from the Rise of the Rune Lords over in, I believe, the book number 2, where you head over to Magnamar? No, book number 2. Yeah, so fun stuff, fun facts. Next, we have the Order of the PYRE. So again, I couldn't find a good image for this because you'll know what I'm talking about here in a second. Based in Citadel Crane near Ostenso in Chiliax, the Order of the PYRE concerns itself with rooting out dangerous religions, seductive perspectives, and revolutionary science that threatens society's status quo. Members of these orders see themselves as cultist hunters and witchcraft persecutors, and they view all high faiths beyond the inner seas region's most common religions with suspicion. The Order's favored weapon is the glaive, which I did not find, but I thought this was a pretty neato picture, so I just included it. But to be honest, this, going back to the previous example, this would actually be a Order of the Rack in testing because of the whip and the longsword, even though it looks more like a scimitar, but who's keeping track? So next we have the Order of the Scourge, which this image here, which I think is so awesome, thank you Wayne, is taken from straight from the book, straight from the character guide book on page 80. So which also the Order of the Chain was, I just really love this one. I think it looks really cool because, again, a lot of people don't think about playing an armored spellcaster. This makes me want to try out an armored spellcaster. This is pretty cool. So anyway, the Order of the Scourge, based in Citadel Domain near the Chilaxian capital of Egorian. So these guys, again, right in Egorian. The Order of the Scourge is dedicated to rooting out corrupt individuals and influences within governments and other powerful groups. Its members hunt for political manipulation and abuses of power, and their efforts also include waging an endless war against organized crime. The Order's favored weapons are the mace, scourge, and whip. So, pretty cool stuff. Let's see here. Now, moving on to the other orders. This is not an order. This is a really, really dope picture. I thought, you know, it was pretty rad, awesome. Very Spawn-like. I love the chains with the little balls at the end. Pretty cool. But the other orders, I'll go ahead and read them out to you here. In addition to these major orders, and I didn't feel like, because I just didn't feel like making slides for each one of these. They're so minor. Anyway, several smaller orders also pursue niche mandates. These are the Order of the Coil, an evil order that persecutes indigenous peoples and historical sites in the Mwanji Expanse. So again, this is one of your lawful evil. The Order of the Crux, an evil order of undead false Hellknights, who have risen as grave knights on the Chiliax Nidal border. So I wouldn't really say they're an official order, because I don't think they'd be recognized, but they wear the armor. They wear the Hell Knight armor as grave knights, so that's why people would assume that. Let's see here. The Order of the Glyph, an evil and illegitimate order, so another illegitimate order, that works at the behest of Chiliax's House Thrune to suppress the nation's histories and lore. The Order of the Pike, a fearsome group of monster slayers. The Order of the Scar, a group of assassin hunters who once served the Chilaxian crown. The Order of the Torrent, a goodly organization, so lawful good. Based in Ravano, dedicated to hunting kidnappers and recovering the kidnapped, mostly referring to the slaves there in Ravano. And the Order of the Wall, a group subordinate to the Order of the Chain that stands vigil in Kari, the stolen Radumi city that remains in Chiliax's grasp. So those are the other orders. Next, we have the titles of the, I call them Hell Knight. They're called Hell Knight titles, but the title Hell Knight is a title too. So it's just, it should be titles, or it should be like ranks within the Hell Knights. But anyway, we're moving forward. The Armiger. Again, this picture also seen if you watch the video of old Chiliax. This is the Armiger. As you can see, she looks a little more cleaned up in this edition. The Armiger is a Hell Knight in training, or otherwise known as a Hell Knight Squire. Armigers are considered affiliated with their respective orders, but they are not full members and have not yet earned their own set of Hell Knight armor, nor have they been issued their order's formal weapon. So again, yeah, so no, they're not wearing Hell Knight armor. The only time you can wear Hell Knight armor is after you've passed the test. So anyway, and that's not in this book, but that's a little bit of 1E sprinkle lore there. Next we have the Signifier, which is a caster, a Hell Knight spellcaster. According to the measure, Signifiers rank nominally below rank and file Hell Knights, who are granted the authority to give orders to spellcasters on the battlefield. The exception to this rule is the Order of the Gate, which has enacted a rider for its members that elevates its signifiers over its Hell Knights. So, fun fact there. Of course, we have the Hell Knight. The rank and file Hell Knights are imbued with the authority to undertake missions, travel, and enforce the law in key places, depending on their order's needs, and make field decisions as necessary to further their objectives. Hell Knights wear iconic black full plate armor and typically wield the signature weapons of their order. That I honestly, as a GM, I would kind of penalize someone, like if they were playing a Hell Knight, thematically they would not ever use a weapon outside of their order unless it was a dire situation. At least that's my ruling on it. But again, you play your game how you want. And in terms of like loot and stuff, like as a Hell Knight, if I was playing a Hell Knight, because this is actually pretty important here. So let's say I'm a Hell Knight, Order of the Nail. I'm my halberd, boom, right? There's nothing saying I couldn't have like a short sword and a hatchet. Like when I travel, I have a hatchet. and like, you know, it's on my horse or whatever, and I have a long sword or like a short sword in case I need it, and I have a dagger, because you should always have a dagger. But like, let's say, you know, there's a long sword that drops in the cave of mystery, and it's got a, let's say my halberd's +1 striking. Let's say it's a +2 sword that's got a really good rune on it, or 2 really good runes on it, and it's got the +2 potency. Well, obviously that's better than my halberd, right? As a Hell Knight, I would say you would be patient enough to wait until you could get back to another destination where you could have someone, if you couldn't do it, you would have someone extract those runes, put them in your weapon, or improve your weapon, or whatever, because you're that tied to your weapon, your order's weapon. It symbolizes what kind of Hell Knight you are. It's pretty important that you do that. It's just, again, just be really weird. I'd be like a Spartan grabbing a whip and being like, ooh, this is a magical whip. I mean, like, yeah, I think I'll just take this. You wouldn't see a Spartan like on the battlefield with a whip. It'd just be weird, right? So it's kind of like that. Like, you'd be like, yeah, I'll stick to what I know. Not that I'm against wielding another weapon, but like, this is my jam. So I'm gonna go with that. But anyway, that's another long tangent, which I apologize for, unless you like that, which please comment below if you do. Next, we have the Merelictor, a mid-level Hell Knight officer, similar to what we would call a lieutenant. Merelictors with titular concerns or duties such as relatively common arms Merelictors, field Merelictors, and gate Merelictors are of lesser rank. So like, yeah, an arms Merelictor would be slightly below, field Merelictor would be slightly below, and gate Merelictor would be slightly below. Then we have the Paralictor. Now, granted, by the way, pictures from here forward are just rotated, so keep that in mind. These are not representations of each. Paralictor is a high-ranking Hell Knight officer, similar to a major, what we call major, so a higher-ranking officer. Next, we have the Para-Vicar. The Para-Vicar is a leader of Hell Knight Order's Signifiers, which is equal in rank to a Master of Blades, which comes next. We have the Master or Mistress, or Mix now because 2020, of Blades. A Colonel of a Hell Knight Order, equal in rank to a Para-Vicar, which again we just went over. So it's the Hell Knight equivalent. A Vicarius is a spellcasting leader of a Hell Knight Order, equal in rank to a Lictor. This title is rarely used, it says. Very rarely used, because there's enough officers to usually take care of what they need, unless it's a very significantly large organization. And last but not least, we have the Lictor, which is the general of that specified Hell Knight Order, or the leader of the Hell Knight Order. So with that, we move to the player perspective. Now, for the player here, here's my thing. In the character guide, I'll just go ahead and read this off. Or I'll say this. There's Hell Knight plate in the, see if I can, there's Hell Knight plate. It's an item in the game. It is more expensive. All right, with the Hell Knight plate, so it's more expensive and it provides there's no difference. It costs you 5 more gold and there's no difference with the armor. No statistical difference at all. I would ask your GM, because this is the ruling I've made at my table. We don't have anyone playing a Hell Knight, right now. But if someone were to play Hell Knight, I'm of the idea that so the Hell Knight armor is very intimidating, right? And because there are items that give you raw bonuses to skill checks, and I believe that the way the Hell Knight armor should work is based on the armor potency, whether it's it's +1, +2, or +3 armor potency. You should gain an item bonus to the AC and to your intimidation checks, and they're shared. So when it becomes +2 armor potency, it also gives you an item bonus of +2 to your intimidation checks. I can't remember off the top of my head if there are any intimidation skill granting items, but even if they were, it wouldn't matter because they can't stack, because they're both the same type of item bonus. So again, because there's bands that give you athletics bonuses, bands that get like items that give you acrobatics bonuses and charisma, or not charisma bonuses, but like diplomacy bonuses and deception checks. So it's like there's no reason why, if the armor, look at the armor. There's no reason that armor shouldn't, like, it looks intimidating. It looks intimidating. Like granted, the guy is huge, but it's irrelevant. Like, the armor looks intimidating. Like, not everyone, like, people aren't walking around with this shit, right? And it has like a very big cultural significance to Galarian. If you see someone in that armor, like, there's a respect that's given. It's immediate respect that's given. Like, that person, anyone that knows anything about that person, first of all, looks crazy, but two, anyone that knows anything about Hell Knights knows that that person has killed a devil in 1v1 combat, mano a mano, or lady combat. I don't know what the equivalent for female is. Don't get on me. So don't at me, bro. But yeah, so there's this respect that's given, so it should come with some sort of added bonus. Like, it's weird that it doesn't. It's very, very weird. The Scourge, so here's my thing. The Scourge needs a serious rework. It's a flail that does 1d4. Why would this weapon do 1d4 damage? I'm calling bullshit. So I'm just saying. But either way, so because it has the finesse trait. So what was, oh, I'm sorry, it's supposed to be this weapon, excuse me. So I get that it's, so here's the thing. It's supposed to be a whip, but it doesn't gain the reach property like the whip has. But it's got but it is agile. I'll give it that. But it's got disarm, finesse, non-lethal, sweep. Okay. So my thing with that as a GM is, I would, basically the way I rule it is, you remove one trait and you make it a D6. Then it becomes a useful fucking weapon. A D4 with a whip that has no reach is trash. It's 100% trash. So that's my suggestion, but take it or leave it. But that's it for the player. Yeah, that's it for the player. So for the GMs, let's come together here. Hell Knights are awesome. If your player wants to be a Hell Knight, I'm not saying again, don't bend the world for them, but you need to make it to where that player, when they get these major increases or opportunities to go up in rank, make them take another test to prove their grit and their resolve and their determination. If you've ever played Undertale, you'll get that reference. Determination. So let them prove that to not only themselves but to their party. Let it be a really cool spotlight moment, where you know, they're at middle town, you know, it's some town doing whatever, and all of a sudden, you know, they don't have to crash into the, you know, into the tavern or whatever, but wherever their parties gather, as long as it's not going to completely destroy or interrupt, you know, a role play process, you know, have it to where it's like, you know, give them warning if that's what they need, and say, oh, you get a letter from a raven today, or a bird, or someone casts, one of the signifiers casts sending at you, you know, you are about to embark on your next test to become a paravicar, right? And so it's like, oh snap, I'm gonna have to prove myself in battle again. Let's go. Give him a cool reward. Everyone's gonna dig it because it's Hellknight. No one hates the Hellknight stuff. You hate the Hellknights and Pathfinder. What's wrong with you? Don't hate my Hellknights. So, anyway, that wraps it up for the Game Master's perspective here. And with that, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, guys. And also help me sell myself out. I'm just kidding. No, really, if you like it, great. If not, I really don't care. Yeah, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. If you're already subscribed and one of the cardinals here, go ahead and take your beak and peck that little bell there you see below the video to keep up with the content as it comes out. And with that, we'll see you next time. Bye.